motivating and engaging our people every step of the way.
Kronos, HR solutions for the modern workforce and the people who support them. Learn more at kronos.com/HR swagger.
I'm on the top, I'm gonna rise up. I'm on the top, I'm gonna rise up. I'm on the top.
Now there's more fun for everyone at IP. The beautiful Bayview Cafe is here, open 24 hours, 7 days a week. You can dine anytime and meet up with friends for wine tasting at 850 Wine and Spirits. Plus, if you love sports, IP Sportsbook is where the action is, and now taking wagers. Better up.
IP Casino Resort and Spa. It's fun for everyone.
ESPN Pensacola 945 is accepting applications for employment. Periodically, we have openings in sales, business, news, promotions, engineering, production, and programming. We'll keep your application for consideration when such an opening occurs. We also provide internships to qualified students. Apply online at ESPNpensacola.com or at our studios at 7251 Plantation Road behind University Town Plaza on Davis Highway between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. ADX Communications is an equal opportunity employer.
The Home Depot is not your garden variety garden center. Not with the largest assortment of regionally selected live goods and landscape products. Like big quart-sized Rio Dipladenia at a special buy, 3 for just $12 in red, pink, or even raspberry. You can't pick better flowers for Mother's Day or a better price. Today's the day for doing, starting with a stop at the garden center of the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Selection varies by store, continental U.S. only.
Tell your fan friends that you've switched to Pensacola's new ESPN. ESPN Pensacola 94.5. It's where you hear Chad Berlante's Sports Drive at 5, Coach K, and Sports Call with Jordan Glass and Davis Allen. Plus all of your ESPN national faves like Gullick and Wingo and Paul Feinbaum. And if you'd like to be an ESPN sponsor or one of our promotional partners, just give us a call at 262-6000. 262-6000.
All sports, all the time. ESPN. All sports, all the time. ESPN Pensacola, 94.5 WYCT Pensacola.
The following has been produced by Talk Football LLC. Former Florida Gators quarterback, NFL quarterback, and NFL head coach. Coach K. Stevenson has a resume second to none, and now he's sharing his insider information with you. Talk Football with Coach K starts right now on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Pensacola 94.5, also on your HD radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT, and streaming on our website at ESPNpensacola.com. Welcome into Talk Football with Coach K. I'm Jordan Glass, joined alongside me as always, Coach K. If you'd like to be a part of the show on this gorgeous Friday here in Pensacola, all you've got to do is call our studio line 850-972-1945. Again, it's 850-972-1945. Again, I'm Jordan Glass, joined alongside me as always, Coach K. And Coach, just jumping in some of the headlines here. We're going to start it off with a little college football action. And, Coach, it looks like we now can expect to see championship games played at the NCAA level in a state that has sports betting, as they have now rescinded that ban that they had in the past. This state like Nevada, a city like Las Vegas, they could hold tournaments that weren't championship tournaments, but they could not hold a championship game. They could even hold a game inside the tournament, but the championship game itself could not be played there. Coach, that has now been lifted. Looks like we could possibly see, the Raiders are getting ready to move to Las Vegas. Maybe within the next possible future, we see the college football final there in the city of Las Vegas.
Yeah, or the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's right.
So it was just a matter of time before that was going to happen, and I really don't have much to say on it other than the fact that it was an eventuality, and it's going to happen at some point. So it's there now. We just live with it.
All right, Coach. Well, let's move on now because yesterday we went over the Sports Illustrated early preseason top 25 for college football. ESPN's kind of released their same thing. They didn't call it a preseason top 25. Instead, they've gone with power rankings for college football. So, Coach, we're going to kind of take a look at this and compare it to the Sports Illustrated one that we looked at yesterday and see how things differ. Coach, so far the top 2 spots, nothing's going to change here. Alabama at 2, Clemson at 1, something we talked about yesterday. Maybe you could flip-flop those teams, but for the most part, any poll you look at like this is going to have those 2 teams right there.
Yeah, as we said, you could flip them. Alabama could be 1 and Clemson 2. Wouldn't make any difference. That's where they are right now. That's a good. That's certainly worth stating at this point.
All right, Coach, let's move on now to our next team at number 3. You've got the Georgia Bulldogs. Again, this is exactly where they were on the Sports Illustrated list yesterday. So far, the top 3 spots, nothing new.
Yeah, I think it's a good. That's a good placement. You got to look at Georgia's a good football team. They played well the last 2 years in the national championship game year before last. They have a quarterback that is a veteran now, very experienced, and has done a great job for them. Got a lot of good people coming back, well coached. Why wouldn't they be? And recruited well. Certainly in their recruiting. And college success brings success, and they're recruiting very well.
All right, Coach, how about at number 4? We finally are starting to see some difference here between the 2 polls. Coach, the Sports Illustrated poll had Ohio State sitting in number 4. This one for ESPN has Oklahoma.
I think either one. This is an either-or to me as well. I think Oklahoma's going to be more of a running team. Ohio State, I think, will too. Much more of a running team with Fields there as opposed to Haskins. So let's just say they're interchangeable there, which wouldn't change either one.
And with them being interchangeable, ESPN has Ohio State sitting at number 5. So we'll just address that and move on now to number 6, because number 6, that's where we find the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They were actually number 5 in the Sports Illustrated poll. Coach, how do you feel about them actually dropping in this one to 6?
Well, I like Notre Dame. I think they could certainly be right now. It's too far away to even worry about 5th, 4th, 5th, 6th, whatever. But they're right in there. They'll be in the hunt. And they've got more experience this year than they had last year. And they're not a bad football team. They're a good football team. It's just the competition that they play until they get to the playoffs is drastically different.
All right, Coach, and then we head now to number 7. No change here at 7 or 8. They've got Michigan at 7, Florida at 8. So the two teams that played in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl last season are sitting right next to each other in the top 10 of this poll.
Yeah, watch Michigan. Michigan is coming off 2 devastating losses at the end of the year. Now, they do have their quarterback coming back, and he's a good quarterback, and he'll be better this year than he was last year. So I expect Michigan has to be better. Let's put it that way. This is not a maybe or hope thing. They have to be better, or some people are going to be in trouble there. I'm talking about Harbaugh. They cannot lose another game to Ohio State, especially get romped like they did last year, and then go lose a bowl game. It's just it's not acceptable. If they play up to their capabilities, Michigan could be in the hunt. If not, Jordan, I say to you, they could be dealing with a lot of hangover from those last 2 games last year, getting pounded like that. And it could be worse than people think. So I'm going to say I really got a question mark on Michigan being there.
All right, Coach, how about we move down to number 8 with the Florida Gators? This is the team that, Felipe Franks, you've talked about it before. He's good to get you a couple of losses on the year, and he's also good to get you a couple of wins. They've still got guys like Van Jefferson, Trayvon Grimes on the offensive side of the ball. They did lose Jordan Scarlett. They do lose Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. So Florida is a team that has to fill some holes, and we're not quite sure exactly what we're going to get from them in year 2 with Dan Mullen. But, Coach, you see them starting out at number 8. You talked about it yesterday. In order for them to kind of stick around that mark and stay inside the top 10 for the year, you see them having to win 10 games, but you necessarily maybe don't think that they'll do that.
No, I don't think they're going to win 10 games. Of course, last year I didn't think they'd win as many as they did either. So for them to stay there, though, think about it now. They're going to have to win probably 10 games to stay there, which means you only got 2, and you got to play a very, very difficult schedule this year. Also picking up Auburn out of that West, and you got LSU, you got Georgia, FSU. It's going to be tough. I don't think Florida will stay in that position. I think they'll probably have too many losses to stay there.
All right, Coach, and one of the teams that Florida will have to face, and they'll have to face them on the road, is sitting at number 9. That's the LSU Tigers.
All depends on that quarterback. If he is ready to have that very successful second year, which so often is the case, LSU is going to be good. They're going to be good defensively now. In fact, defensively, I've heard easily top 5 in the country defensively. So that tells you something right there. LSU is going to be good if they get over that hump, which means winning 10 or 11 games. It's going to have to be great offensive strategy. They're going to have to throw the football some, be more efficient at it than they have been in the past, which relates directly to the quarterback. So if things go top of the as good as they could possibly can, LSU should be there, maybe even higher. They could be up there competing with Georgia for a spot. And if it doesn't, they won't even be in the top 10.
All right, Coach. Let's keep this going now. We'll have our top 10 team here. The Oregon Ducks sitting at number 10.
You better watch Oregon. They've got a quarterback. Everything I hear about this quarterback is good, very good. Some people like him. In fact, the analogy is Andrew Luck.
Wow.
So there are a lot of people that really like this kid. He's stayed in school. He's showed a lot of leadership. He got some other kids to stay there with him to hopefully win a national championship, sort of like Clemson did last year. So they're going to be ready. They're going to be prepared. They're going to have a certain goal in mind, and they're all after the same goal, is to win a national championship. They play in a weaker conference than the SEC, or I would dare to say the ACC or the Big Ten. So there is a very good chance that Oregon could get in there. Now they open up. They got a tough opener. But if they get through that opener and get into their schedule, better look out for Oregon. They could be there. They could very easily. I could see them up in the top 3, looking at the playoffs.
All right, Coach. And are you a little surprised here? We've gone through this top 10, and the Texas Longhorns not a part of the top 10, but, Coach, they are sitting right outside of it at number 11. Texas, a team you and I both are really high on. We both like this Texas Longhorn team. But, Coach, any surprise here that ESPN does not have them in their top 10 power index?
I guess you might say there's a little surprise, because I, like you, think Texas is a good football team. They made a lot of progress last year. They had their quarterback played exceptionally well for them, and now he's coming back for another year. Things just look up for Texas right now. They've got a lot to look forward to, and I think they're going to continue to improve. Their head coach, that's been his. You can say what you want to about him at Ohio State or wherever, but that's been his MO. They get better and better under him, or he wouldn't be in the position he's in. So I look for Texas to be a competitor and be up there. That depends on how well they can do, in against Oklahoma and in a championship game. But let's take a look. They could be a real competitor.
All right, Coach, let's move now to some NFL headlines. Tampa Bay Buccaneers pass rusher Jason Pierre-Paul, who's obviously most notable for his time with the New York Giants. He was in a car accident and has been in a South Florida hospital but it looks like he has been released, expected to make a full recovery. It was a one-car accident early this morning is when it happened, and they've had him in the hospital just kind of keeping an eye on him. But again, Coach, it looks like Jason Pierre-Paul has been released, and he just went in for some, just to check him out after the car accident. So that is good news for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Well, it's better news for him.
Absolutely, yeah.
But these kids, obviously what that sounds like is, he was out having a good time and missed a curve or something. But at any rate, you hate to see it. Just hate to see it. They could throw away a career like that. Most people would treasure that with their lives, But anyway, I wish him well. I hope that he does get through this with flying colors and gets back to play.
Absolutely, Coach. And some more news from inside the NFL. Cam Newton has broken his silence on the fact that the Carolina Panthers drafted a quarterback, not just drafted a quarterback, but they drafted a high-profile quarterback in Will Grier from West Virginia. Cam Newton actually came out and said, look, he's excited to be able to play and work with a guy like Will Grier. He said that I reached out to Will. I actually seen Will play in high school and with him being in Charlotte, and I'm just excited. So this is a guy that Cam Newton's gone and watched him play back when he was at high school, and Cam was starting out his career with the Panthers. And Coach, it's very interesting because it's a similar path for them to this point with the Carolina Panthers. We were talking about it before the show started. Both started off their careers as Florida Gators. They got suspended for something, ended up transferring to another high-profile Power 5 school, and then that ultimately led them to having being drafted by the Carolina Panthers. So, Coach, it's going to be interesting to see how these guys work together. It seems like Cam Newton's excited for the opportunity.
Well, yeah, I think that's good, and I think they should work together well. Steel hardened steel. A little competition there would be good for Cam, and it's certainly good for Grier. I think it was a good choice by Carolina because they do have now it's great insurance against that shoulder surgery that Cam Newton had. You never know how that's going to turn out. And the reason that you don't know right off is when you get into camp, all the number of throws that you make, and then you get into a game, and all of a sudden you've got to put energy into a throw that you have not had to make before, torque on the arm that or your shoulder you've not put on it before, and it just happens and you do it. And if something snaps or something's not just right, hasn't healed properly, now you got a setback. You can't, because you got something wrong with that shoulder. You just cannot throw the football. It takes too much off it. So the moral to the story is here, I think they've got a good solution. You never want to lose your starting quarterback, but if you did, the shoulder is not exactly right. They have a good, talented quarterback, and I think he'll be ready to go.
All right, Coach, and the general manager for the Panthers, Marty Henry, has come out and said, Herney has come out and said that Cam Newton is their starting quarterback. So there's no quarterback controversy, but still, if they do need to use Will Grier because of an injury situation, they are not going to shy away from that once he is ready to go. All right, we're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, more Talk Football with Coach K coming up next right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Brady's 2 for $20 deal. Wings? Wings. Bigger bang, same buck. Pick a starter plus 2 entrees. Like 10 of Beef's famous wings. Still $20. 2 for $20. Worth every penny.
Tower, this is Alpha Squad. Something smells mighty good up here. Who's hungry? Over.
Beef's 2 for $20. Pick a starter and 2 entrees. Like Beef's new chicken tender Parmesan skillet. Still just $20.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
Sometimes your bank, your family, and your friends love you, but they don't have the money to help you. Sometimes we have chances to make money, but the old saying, you've got to have money to make money, rings true. At Pensacola Specialty Pond, we can help. If you have trucks, heavy equipment, airplanes, boats, jet skis, anything with value, Pensacola Specialty Pond can loan you that short-term money you need. No credit checks, and at Pensacola Specialty Pond, you're going to find the money and the discretion you need.
Now at 6428 Pensacola Boulevard, north of Car City. Call 432-9050, 432-9050.
At Indeed, we believe a resume is a great way to see an overview of a candidate, but you're not hiring a resume, you're hiring a person. That's why Indeed offers tools that help bridge the gap between a candidate and the resume, like skill tests, which let you actually see a candidate's abilities in action to make sure they're a good fit for the job. See beyond the resume with Indeed. Experience Indeed for yourself today and get a free sponsored job upgrade on your first posting at Indeed.com/promo. Terms and conditions apply.
Don't drop the ball this football season. Make Tom Thumb your game day destination. We are your first round pick for snacks, chips, dips, and drinks. Are you tailgating before the game? Don't get blindsided. Head to Tom Thumb for all your supplies. Score big savings with our rewards card. You'll earn 4 fuel points for every $1 spent in store. From hot dogs and buns to ice and propane, Tom Thumb has you covered to help you enjoy the game. For the ultimate game day, team up with Tom Thumb, the local store for local champions.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on your HD radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT, and streaming on our website, ESPNpensacola.com. Welcome back into Talk Football with Coach K. I'm Jordan Glass, joined alongside me as always, Coach K. And going through the show today, we were supposed to have our good friend Bill Polian join us, as he's done numerous times on the show today. But you know, Bill Polian, he's a busy guy. He's a busy guy, and especially this time of year with the draft just now wrapping up. And you know, he did unfortunately have something come up, so we were actually going to have him on Monday's show. So again, Bill Polian is supposed to come on today. We've actually pushed him back to Monday. Something came up with him, so we rescheduled that interview. So make sure you tune in coming up Monday on Talk Football, as we're joined by Bill Polian. He's going to be talking with Coach about just about anything that had to do with the NFL draft, some of the big teams that he was impressed with, some of the teams he wasn't impressed with, some of the players he loved at their picks, and maybe a couple of players he wasn't exactly a fan of, maybe some things that left him scratching his head. But Coach, I want to bring this up, and I want to ask you, and I want to talk to you about this, because you look at this situation with the NFL draft. There's ups and downs, there's highs and lows, there's teams that did a really good job and teams that did a really bad job. Coach, when you take a look at the NFL draft, we've talked about some of the teams that, in your opinion, that you felt had did a great job. What are some teams that you felt maybe did a bad job in this year's NFL draft?
Well, you know, and then we have to state this, I think, before talking about the draft in any way, just like yesterday and the day before and so on. You can't really tell about a draft whether it was a good draft or bad draft until at least 2 years down the road. Ones that I had questions about, let's put it that way. I have questions. Of course, they didn't have many picks, but questions about New Orleans. And even yesterday when Gil Brandt was talking about New Orleans, I had to go back to last year, a draft pick from last year, to pull anything out. Now, if he was trying to associate that with this year's pick, and maybe they gave up that first-round pick for the guy last year, so you can say, well, they got Davenport. Okay, we'll let them have that. But even with that, I mean, it's not worth 4 sacks right now,
right?
Which is what he has. And they may turn all 4 or 5 people they got may turn out to be all pro, and we'll be totally wrong. I just have questions about that about that draft. I have some questions about Houston, Texas draft. I have some personally. I have some about the Packers draft because I'm not certain in my mind, which doesn't make it bad, but I'm not certain in my mind with the limited knowledge that I have. And you got to remember now, when you're in the league and you're coaching, you spend hours and hours and hours looking at tape, reading everything you can read about them from the scouts that worked with them since they were sophomores and freshmen and sophomores in college. Everything that you want to know about them is contained in those books, and you go through it exhaustingly. Go through it, so you know a heck of a lot more about them. But just based on the surface and what my relationship with the draft is, I did not see anything that really jumped out to help Rodgers to the extent that I felt he should be helped. Now, if they're counting on him to put him across the finish line, they need to get him all the help they can. Granted, some of it will help, but is it going to help directly? That's my question. And there are a couple of others that, quite frankly, Jordan, I have some doubts about, but we won't know until we get a little ways into the season. Now, if people don't show up and don't start playing, that's another indication that you may have missed. How many do they release out of the draft board in camp, and how many make the football team? So a lot of indicators will start coming up pretty early in camp.
All right, Coach, and we're taking a look here at some of these undrafted free agents that were not brought in by teams during the draft, so they are still out there kind of floating around. Taking a look at some of these signees that we had, undrafted rookies, taking a look at them here by position. And, Coach, as we continue to look at this, it's one of those situations to where a lot of these guys come out, and a guy that was at the Senior Bowl that we talked about, Tyree Jackson, ends up signing with the Buffalo Bills as a quarterback. But, Coach, how long do you think it takes before we see him transition to a tight end or a defensive end, or maybe put on some weight, be an offensive tackle or an offensive guard? Because this is a guy who's athletic, he's got big hands, and he's got great size, but not necessarily a prototypical quarterback.
Yeah, you're right, and that's projections are tough now. It's tough enough when they're playing the position that they're going to play in pro football, but when you start projecting, then that's another animal. You really got to be careful there. But I agree with you. I think he has all of the prototypical measurables that you could see in a kid that would make a transition to certainly a tight end. And he's big, and he's got long arms, he's got big hands, he catches the ball well, good athletic skills. Certainly playing the quarterback position would give him another advantage in that he would probably have more just innate football savvy about him because of what he's been required to do as a quarterback. So I think your observation there, Jordan, I like it. I think it's a very good observation.
All right, Coach, let's move on now to some of these other quarterbacks that were in this draft class, but, maybe necessarily they weren't drafted and we're still trying to kind of wait for things to happen for them, or maybe they've already been signed for a team. For all you Nick Fitzgerald fans out there at Mississippi State, we do have an update on him. He has signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, Coach, Nick Fitzgerald, Mississippi State, not drafted, but he has signed as an undrafted free agent with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Coach, is this a guy that you look at some of these guys most of the time that are undrafted free agents that sign with teams, they're practice squad guys or they don't make it out of camp. Do you think there's actually a legitimate shot we see Nick Fitzgerald, I'm not going to say in an NFL game, but on an NFL sideline this upcoming season?
As a running back or maybe even a slot guy or a combination guy. Now, it's a shame because the Patriots could really they could work wonders with a guy with his athletic ability and toughness. He's a tough runner. I see him playing the running back position quite a bit. And he could be, who knows? He could be another Edelman, having that quarterback background, being a good run after the catch. Seems to be a good athlete. I'm sure he catches the ball well. Now, whether he has that just that innate quickness and feel up in there, like a slot would have to have, we're not sure of. But it's worth trying him there, and certainly worth trying him as a running back. I don't think there's any way he makes it as a quarterback.
All right, Coach, and are you surprised moving to the running back position? Guys like Karan Higdon and also Nick Brossette from LSU and Michigan, are you surprised that they weren't drafted late inside the NFL draft, that they actually had to sign with free agents? And by the way, Karan Higdon signed with the Houston Texans, Nick Brossette signed with the New England Patriots. Coach, were you surprised that they weren't drafted at all?
No, not really. I can go into a lot of detail. I won't bore you with that. But there are reasons that people aren't drafted, and it has nothing to do with something bad about them. It's just overall athletic ability, how it fits with the pro offense, the typical pro offense, and what they look like in their position, what they feel like they will do as running backs, and they're not quite there. Doesn't mean they can't make it one day. And it's a long haul to do it, but I'm not surprised at all that they weren't drafted.
Oh, and by the way, this list that we are reading off of was put together by Gil Brandt, who we had joining us yesterday on the show right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5, discussing some of the players that were taken inside the NFL draft. But, Coach, I want to ask you now, because I want to continue to kind of take a look at this. We're not going to bring up every player and go position by position. But, Coach, if you're looking at these guys at positions, they go as undrafted free agents because they were not drafted in the NFL draft. Teams did not want to take the chance on them in the draft. Coach, out of which position do you think you have the best opportunity as an undrafted free agent to come in the NFL and actually have success inside the league? Is it maybe at an offensive line or defensive line position, or do you think that maybe it's more at a skill position or maybe in the secondary?
I think you have the best chance at a running back, or maybe a safety on the right team. Now, running back, but also should qualify with on the right team. Because some people do you would not make it very easy as a running back at New England, for example, with all they do with their running backs. And there are a number of other teams that it would be difficult to do. There's some that try to keep it very, very simple for their running backs and just let them use that raw talent. I would say there maybe a rush in with great ability, but it'd have to have great ability. If they have that, there's no way you can teach that, but you can improve their technique in getting to the quarterback. You can give them better splits and learn how to adjust based on where the tackle lines up. All those things they'll learn and become better. But if you just put them out there, if you took a great pass rusher who had tremendous speed and skill and quick feet and good eye-hand coordination, can get those hands off, and you put him out there wide enough that tackle would have to stretch for him, chances are with just that one application, he's going to be pretty good. Okay? But if you increase his knowledge of how to get the hands off of him, to give him a bull rush every now and then, it looks like an outside speed rush, come with a bull rush, to be able to twist off that bull rush, those types of things, then make him a great pass rusher. So to answer your question, I guess go back. I think a running back is just natural ability. You hand the ball off, and he either sees it or he doesn't see it. He's got the quickness to get through there.
All right, Coach. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, more Talk Football with Coach K coming up next on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text. Stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
Wings are now on Beef O'Brady's 2 for $20 deal. Wings? Wings. Bigger bang, same buck. Pick a starter plus 2 entrees. Like 10 of Beef's famous wings, still $20. 2 for $20. Worth every penny.
Tower, this is Alpha Squad. Something smells mighty good up here. Who's hungry? Over.
Beef's 2 for $20. Pick a starter and 2 entrees. Like Beef's new chicken tender Parmesan skillet, still just $20.
Guess what? Right now is the perfect time to tackle those home projects you've been putting off. So come summertime, you can just sit back and relax. Home Advisor can help get you started. Home Advisor matches you to the right pro for the job in seconds. You can read reviews and even book appointments online. Home Advisor can help with any home project, big or small, painting, plumbing, even remodeling. Find a great pro now before the busy season hits. Go to homeadvisor.com or download the free app.
Home Advisor.
Technology Truths, brought to you by Geico.
Technology Truths.
Truth, you think you can solve any problem by turning your computer off and on.
Hey man, is something wrong with your laptop?
Nah, I just need to turn it off and on. It's no problem.
It's smoking.
Yeah, that just means it needs to reboot.
Truth, it's so easy to switch and save on car insurance at geico.com.
And now it's on fire.
Happens all the time. It's all good.
Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on your HD radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT, and streaming on our website, ESPNpensacola.com. Welcome back into Talk Football with Coach K. If you want to be a part of today's show, simply call us on our studio line, 850-972-1945. Again, it's 850-972-1945. I'm Jordan Glass. Joined alongside me, as always, Coach K. And Coach, coming back from the break, we want to kind of get into a couple of different things here on the show. And we'll start it off with, you take a look at some of these coaches around college football, and obviously Gus Malzahn is one of them that we're going to be discussing today, I'm sure. Coaches that, before the season has even started, they just got done with spring ball. Maybe they're getting ready to go on vacation with their family before they come back and get ready for, summer workouts and then fall camp and then the season to start. Coach, what coaches are you really kind of pinpointing as early candidates for the hot seat inside college football?
Well, I think you hit it on the head. I think Gus Malzahn is definitely on the hot seat. Now, he's going to take back the play calling this year, which he never should have relinquished, I don't think. I don't think it ever set well with him. And there was always second guessing. And players realize that when that happens on a football team. So I think that hurt him. Now all the pressure's on him. And he's got a very, very difficult schedule. I think he could well be out of there at Auburn, and that's a good job. By the way, that could be an outstanding job. I think Harbaugh at Michigan is on the hot seat, especially if they get whopped by Ohio State, and certainly if they lose 2 games in their conference. Can you imagine if they lost 2 games in another bowl game? I don't think there'd be any doubt about it.
It'd be tough.
I think he'd be gone. And then you've got Southern Cal, I'm afraid he's going to be gone at Southern Cal, and I think what we talked about, I think the suspicion is ripe. That is perfect for Urban Meyer. He's going to say he's never going to coach again. He's going to spend time with his family. If Southern Cal opened up, which I think it will, I think he would be right on top of it out there. And that is, I hate that for Helton, the head coach out there. I mean, he got a good break getting that job. But, he has a lot of Pensacola connections.
Right.
Helton, his dad is, and grandparents and his family's from here. They moved to Gainesville when his dad was starting high school. His dad was an all-state player at Gainesville High, got a scholarship to Florida and went there. And the rest is history. He's gone on coach and done a good job. But so I think those three, if you're talking big time now, I think Mississippi State could have a.
Really?
Oh yeah, I really do. I think some things could happen to Mississippi State, and could happen sooner rather than later. I don't think this guy is. He doesn't have the personality or the background or the experience with that type of fan base. I think would be the best way to put it, and I think he's losing whatever battle he was in there. I don't think he's winning, and certainly more was expected of him than they had last year. So you got to look there, and then there's some other schools that Pittsburgh may have an opening. I think there are a couple of schools out on the West Coast and through the Midwest. There again, you never know what's going to happen with some of the lower or mid to lower D1 schools. There's usually a lot of turnover there. But those are the big ones that I could see right now that would really be on the hot seat.
All right, Coach. What about Will Muschamp at South Carolina and Derek Mason at Vanderbilt? Do you possibly see them being on the hot seat, or do you think maybe because Derek Mason's at Vanderbilt and it's Vandy, and then a 7-win season for them is considered a success? Do you think maybe he gets a little bit of a grace period? And also with Will Muschamp there, they just signed him to an extension. Maybe that gives him a little bit of a cushion as well, because maybe financially they might be locked to him. Or do you think they're actually on the hot seat going into this year as well?
No, I think each one has another year at least. And I think Will Muschamp, though, will be on the hot seat next year if they don't. If they're looking badly, they don't look like they're playing very well. If there's a lot of chit-chat out there in the community, the South Carolina community, then I think he'll be on the hot seat. But I don't see either one of them being on the hot seat right now.
All right, Coach, let's transition now back to the NFL, and we've got a post-draft power ranking here by SportsIllustrated.com that we're going to be taking a look at. Coach, obviously this is something you take a look at right here. The number one team, no surprise here, the New England Patriots. It's kind of like college football. The top two spots, not much of a surprise.
I would agree with that, but I will. There's a caveat here.
Okay.
In that it's going to be difficult for them to hold that position.
Right.
It really is going to be difficult for them. I think they lost quite a bit, and they do the best job of anybody in overcoming that Super Bowl hangover. They're experts at it. So I think that's going to be whatever effect that has on them. With maybe some of the younger players, it's going to be minimal. But I think I think it's going to be tough for them to hang on to that position, because they've got a new left tackle that's got to perform well as Brown did last year, Trent Brown. They've got they don't have Gronkowski. They still don't have. Now I like what they did in the draft and getting N'Keal Harry. I think is going to be an outstanding receiver and a big receiver for them. That's going to help. But they still, as of this moment, they don't have anybody to take the top off. But they're a good football team. I think they'll be there primarily because there's a Bill Belichick running that team and a Tom Brady at quarterback.
All right, Coach, let's move on here now. At number 2 on that list, you take a look at it, and right there at number 2, you've got the New Orleans Saints, Coach. So again, no surprise here, really, with the top 2 teams.
No surprise there. I think New Orleans is a good pick there, and they should be. Again, you got an outstanding quarterback like Drew Brees. You can pretty much count on the quarterback position being there. Good coaching staff. They've done a good job with those guys. I don't really see any doubt. I think they'll be right there.
All right, Coach. And then coming up next on our list as we take a look at it here, team that played the New England Patriots inside the AFC Championship game, you've got the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, even though they lost some defensive players, they got a new defensive coordinator. They'll have a new style. I suppose they got most of what they needed in the way of free agency and the draft. They deal in speed. Kansas City deals in speed, and they picked up another, very, very quick, fast receiver with speed. So I think Kansas City's got a good chance to stay in the hunt right there. 3 is a good spot for them.
All right, Coach. And coming up at number 4, we've got the teams that played the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl. It's the LA Rams.
I think it's going to be difficult for them to stay there. I really do. And one of the reasons being, is that the San Francisco 49ers are going to be a whole lot better. They're going to have their quarterback back, who has proven every time he's played that he wins football games. I think the games he started, I think he's only lost one game. I'm including New England and San Francisco. It hasn't been. There haven't been a ton of games there because he got injured, but when he plays, they win, and I think they helped themselves tremendously in the draft. I think San Francisco is going to be a threat to them, and if that is the case, it'll take it'll help to knock them down there on the final standings.
All right, Coach, and we've got a tie between them actually there at the 5 spot. It's between the Chicago Bears and the Indianapolis Colts, so they're tied on this power ranking at number 5.
Well, I like the Indianapolis Colts. I really do. I think, what I saw last year and their improvement and what I saw in their offensive line was just, having coached in that league and know how difficult it is to make vast improvements with offensive line, it usually takes years. They made vast improvements in 1 year, less than 1 year. They'll get even better this year. They've got a great quarterback. I think they helped themselves in the draft at the receiver position as well. Plus, they picked up a couple in free agency. They're better than they were last year, and they were pretty good last year. I think they jumped the Bears here.
Okay, Coach. We'll move on now to our next team here. We're sitting here at 7, and that's obviously where we find the Philadelphia Eagles. And oddly enough, 7 is actually where the Eagles were sitting when the season ended. So, Coach, really no change for the Eagles.
Well, you could very easily see them move up. I think they, depending on whether Wentz, I should really put an asterisk here and say very much this depends on the health of Wentz. He's been hurt quite a bit. If he's in the tub, they're in trouble because they don't have their quarterback now. He's gone to Jacksonville, so they could be in some big trouble there. I think for them to maintain that and to move up the ladder some, because I think they did an outstanding job picking off that big tackle there. They needed him very badly, and he will help keep Wentz healthy. But I think for them to do that, to move up the ladder, he's going to have to be healthy, and they're going to have a couple of the moves that they made. Those people come in and help.
All right, Coach, how about now to number 8 where we find the Los Angeles Chargers. Coach, they finished the season sitting at 5, but it looks like they've dropped down a few spots to number 8 here. So, Coach, the Chargers coming in at 8 on this power ranking.
I think that's about right. I really do. They're going to have to work very hard and win more games than they did last year to move up in the ratings.
All right, Coach, how about the Dallas Cowboys? They're sitting here at number 9. And, Coach, you take a look at them. Again, they finished the season just like the Eagles. Finished the season at 9, currently sitting at 9, so no change for them.
I've got a lot of questions about Dallas. I think Dallas will drop. I don't think they're going to be as prevalent in the playoff picture as they have been.
All right, Coach, and now finally rounding out the top 10, a team that finished 10-6 on the year. They are able to re-sign Russell Wilson, giving him that $140 million as part of that contract. So, Coach, the Seattle Seahawks sitting here at 10.
Well, Seattle is a good football team. They have an outstanding quarterback, and he should be set now for the next 4 or 5 years. So I see them playing very well. I see them playing with younger players. They've got to do a heck of a job coaching. If they coach these kids up and get a couple of lucky rolls, they got a great place to play at home. That's a big home field advantage for them. So you got 8 games up there. So that's 8 games they're going to go in with a huge advantage to start with. I think they stay in they stay there or higher.
All right, Coach, and let's continue on through the top 15 here. We've got Cleveland Browns sitting here at number 11.
Yeah, now there's some people that are saying Cleveland is a favorite to go to the Super Bowl. I can't buy that one. But they're going to be much, much better. There's no doubt in my mind about that. If they can protect their quarterback, they will be much better. Because he's got some people he can distribute the ball around to now, and he does a good job of that. And they'll have some people down the field, and it depends on how well they all get along in the locker room. I'd say right now is going to be the big thing. I think is how well Freddie Kitchens responds to the head coaching position, and keeps that football team keeps their feet on the ground and solid and without too many disruptions. And you're going to have some disruption anytime you've got the personalities that they have assembled. But you got to keep that to a minimum and have them ready to play. So there's a big job for a first-year coach.
All right, Coach, moving now to the 12th spot where we have yet another tie. This time it's between the Atlanta Falcons and the Green Bay Packers. So, Coach, despite not getting Aaron Rodgers any help in the draft, Packers still sitting here in the top 15 in this Power Index poll off of SportsIllustrated.com or SI.com. You can actually head over to their NFL page and check that out. Coach, the Green Bay Packers sitting here at 12, tied with the Falcons.
Well, again, you got the Rodgers factor here, and he's good enough to keep a football team in it somewhere in the hunt. And Atlanta, I like Atlanta. I think Atlanta's helped themselves in the draft. They certainly helped themselves in their offensive line up front. They got an outstanding guard, an outstanding tackle out of the draft, and so they're going to be better. So I like. I guess I would prefer Atlanta here over Green Bay, and Atlanta could very well move up the board rapidly past 2 or 3 of those other teams we've already gone over.
All right, Coach, and let's move on now to 14. We've got the Houston Texans here, and the Texans 11-5, losing in the wild card round a year ago. But, Coach, this post-draft power ranking for the NFL has them sitting at 14.
I'm not as high on the Texans draft. I don't think they did a lot to help themselves. I don't see them staying there. I see them dropping some.
All right, Coach, let's move on now to our final team to round out the top 15 here. It's the Minnesota Vikings, Coach. They are sitting exactly where they were when they finished the season, 8-7-1 on the year. That was good enough for second place in the NFC North behind Chicago. And the Vikings are one of the teams that, they needed some help on the offensive line, and they addressed that. And, Coach, I think that they're going to be a better football team this upcoming season because of that. And I really think that Minnesota, they're at 15 right now. I think when we talk about this, once the season gets going, this is going to be an impressive football team to watch.
You couldn't be more right. You're right on the money. They are a better football team than most of the teams we've already talked about right now, especially after the draft. They had an outstanding draft, I think. And they've got a quarterback now with a year under his belt. They're going to be they've got Kubiak in there who's really going to run their offense, and he's a run first, with that stretch zone approach that they use. They get a lot done with the running game and the play action passes. I think due to the changes that they've made, and I see them winning that division. That's a tough division, but I see them beating Green Bay and the Bears and winning that division. That being the case, obviously they move up considerably there and may even move up ahead of some other people right up there in the top 2 or 3 in the league. Minnesota's got a chance to really improve.
Absolutely, Coach. We'll take our final time out of the show. When we come back, more Talk Football with Coach K, wrapping things up for the week right after this on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
There's only one place in town for the lowest prices and greatest selection of firearms. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Visit our fully stocked Gun Pro shop for new and used firearms, accessories, and ammunition. Check out the Indoor Shooting Range. We offer rentals on guns, including fully automatic machine guns and silencers. Ladies, this is the safe place to learn how to use a gun. Plus, Tuesday is Ladies' Day. Women shoot for half price all day. The best place to buy firearms in Pensacola. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range, Highway 29 in Car City.
Wings are now on Beef O'Brady's 2 for $20 deal. Wings? Wings. Bigger bang, same buck. Pick a starter plus 2 entrees. Like 10 of Beef's famous wings, still $20. 2 for $20. Worth every penny.
Tower, this is Alpha Squad. Something smells mighty good up here. Who's hungry? Over.
Beef's 2 for $20. Pick a starter and 2 entrees. Like Beef's new chicken tender Parmesan skillet, still just $20.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck, Bentley. That was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Don't drop the ball this football season. Make Tom Thumb your game day destination. We are your first round pick for snacks, chips, dips, and drinks. Are you tailgating before the game? Don't get blindsided. Head to Tom Thumb for all your supplies. Score big savings with our rewards card. You'll earn 4 fuel points for every $1 spent in store. From hot dogs and buns to ice and propane, Tom Thumb has you covered to help you enjoy the game. For the ultimate game day, team up with Tom Thumb, the local store for local champions.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on your HD radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT, streaming on our website at ESPNpensacola.com. Welcome back into Talk Football with Coach K. You can be a part of the show by calling our studio line, 850-972-1945. Again, it's 850-972-1945. I'm Jordan Glass. Joined alongside me, as always, Coach K. And, Coach, as we do this time in every show, I want to say thank you to our wonderful sponsors, Bob Tyler Toyota, Hill Kelly Dodge, Levin Papantonio Law Firm, Beef O'Brady's, Tom Thumb. We've got Damien's Ice Cream, and, of course, Pensacola Indoor Gun Range.
And the greatest sponsors in the world, we know that, and we hope our audience out there will patronize them. And I'm sure you're aware of the two specials that we have going right now. One with Damien's Ice Cream, they're a wholesale ice cream house from New Orleans to Orlando. And anyway, if they will sell direct to the public, wholesale prices, ice cream, all you got to do is go on their website, DamiensIceCream.com. Look at what all they have, the amounts that you want. Plus, if you let them know you found out about it on this show, they'll give you 15% discount. And the shooting range, if you let them know you heard about it here, it's half off. So take advantage of those two.
No, you are absolutely right, Coach. Those are a couple of great deals that our listeners should definitely be taking advantage of. Coach, some tough news for the University of Florida. Highly talented football quarterback recruit Jalen Jones, who actually has been an early enrollee and actually played in the spring game for them. Looks like he has entered the transfer portal. And, this news broke earlier this week on Monday or Tuesday that he was entering the transfer portal. Weren't really sure why. We got news yesterday that he actually is being accused of sexual battery by a couple of different girls there from something that happened in a dorm room. And, Coach, it kind of looks like if you read the story, there's some, obviously it's tough to talk about the story. Not everything has come out yet. Not all the details are out. So we're not going to touch on the story of what happened. But, Coach, I think when you look at this situation overall, in general, this just really looks like maybe the University of Florida went to Jalen Jones along with Dan Mullen as the head coach for the football program and basically said, look, we think it's maybe time that it's best interest of both parties. You maybe enter the transfer portal and just go find somewhere else to play.
Sure sounds that way, and we don't need that on any campus in the country. And these kids are going to have to learn that if you're going to do things like that and get yourself in that situation, the worst is going to happen. And this is another good example of it. It's just a shame.
No, Coach, you are absolutely right on that. That is all the time we have for today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Talk Football Show right here with Coach K. I'm Jordan Glass. And, of course, coming up later on this afternoon, we have the Sports Drive getting started at 5 with Chad Berlante. I will be on that show as well, having some fun, hanging out with you there this Friday afternoon, talking some sports on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Stephen A. Smith Show is coming up next. Again, you have been listening to Talk Football with Coach K. For Coach K, I'm Jordan Glass. You guys have a great weekend. We'll be back on Monday with Bill Polian. He'll be joining us Monday right here on Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Tell your fan friends that you've switched to Pensacola's new ESPN. ESPN Pensacola 94.5. It's where you hear Chad Berlante's Sports Drive at 5, Coach K, and Sports Call with Jordan Glass and Davis Allen. Plus all of your ESPN national faves like Gullick and Wingo and Paul Feinbaum. And if you'd like to be an ESPN sponsor or one of our promotional partners, just give us a call at 262-6000. 262-6000.